For the first time since November 16th, 2019, welcome to Seton Hill University football here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Tonight, the Griffins open their 2021 campaign as they welcome the Wheeling University Cardinals. Here at Offutt Field in downtown Greensburg, I'm Sean Myers, joined by TJ DeStefano. TJ, a year away from Seton Hill football. 2020 season was initially moved to the spring of 2021, ultimately canceled. It has been long overdue for the Griffins to suit up and play in a real football game, and they have a lot of optimism around the program under the guidance of Dan Day, now in his third year. We'll hear from him momentarily as he talked to our Dan Flickinger here on our Griffins Game Day on the Westmoreland Sports Network, presented by Sendell Motors in Greensburg. Sendell sells for less. That will be upcoming, but first, for you and I, this is a very exciting time to get back here and call some college football on the Westmoreland Sports Network. A year away certainly made us realize how much we miss bringing Seton Hill football to all of our listeners.
Definitely great to be back, Sean. There's fans in the stands as well. A great night here in Greensburg as well, weather-wise. And, yeah, everyone's excited. Time to play some football here, and we'll see how Seton Hill does after not playing since 2019.
That said, the Griffins roster has so many of those same names. They have done a great job with retention. Many players who could have moved on and left the program after a year away decided to stick around with the goal of making this 2021 season count. Dan Day now in his third year, second season guiding this program. They really think that they could be much improved for a program that really desperately needs a breakout campaign.
Definitely 12 out of 19 seniors come back, and even though there was no season last year, they really worked on their strength and conditioning, their player development, and again, working to change the culture here at Seton Hill. So now the big question is how has all that work and progression going to show when they finally step on a football field with another opponent?
And it's been more than 20 months since they've played a real game. On the other side, Wheeling is in a completely different scenario. They played an abbreviated spring campaign, 4 games in which they went 2-2 in the spring session. So they're just a few months removed from playing meaningful football. This is a program that is in its third year of existence for the Cardinals. They really struggled in the first season, as you would expect, winning just 1 game. They've already improved upon that in their abbreviated 4-game slate in the spring, and now they look to get back at it here in the fall. Looks like 2 programs that could be trending in the right direction. You never really know what to expect when it's the first game of the season.
No, and especially as you said, Seton Hill hasn't played since 19. Wheeling played 4 games in 2020. So, yeah, we're going to see a lot about 2 programs that are still building as they step on the field here tonight.
And the person that's best equipped to talk about the state of the Seton Hill football program, that is Dan Day. He was part of the first ever team for the Griffins, now back as the head coach. There's a lot of excitement surrounding the program. He has certainly talked about the expectations, and I think that he has good reason to be excited. He really had an opportunity to delve deep into the upcoming season as he talked to our Dan Flickinger. You'll hear that momentarily. We'll take a break, come back, and we will step in with Coach Day, the Dan and Dan Show, as they call it. Not the Day and Day Show, the Dan and Dan Show. Dan Flickinger and Dan Day. That's upcoming as we continue our pregame show. Griffins on deck here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
When I first came back, one of the first things that blew me away was our facilities. How the fields have grown up in that whole complex down the hill. Our weight room now, how that has been remodeled and changed and overhauled.
Our baseball field is, in my opinion, one of the best in the nation, Division II wise. And just having Sullivan Gym open for us all the time with the nets in there whenever we wanted to get work in, which is possibly why I got to where I am, because all the extra work that I did put in.
I think our facilities are one of the best across the P-Stacks, and that's definitely a huge recruiting tool as we are able to draw the athletes for the academics in addition to the great things they can get on the athletic side of it.
I don't think I would be able to thrive in a big school. I think I like that the professors know my name. I like that when I'm walking down the hall, I can say hi to someone and I actually know them.
This is the Coach Dan Day Show, presented by State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Murraysville. Here's Dan Flickinger and the third-year head coach of the Griffins, Dan Day.
Welcome back to Griffins Game Day on the Westmoreland Sports Network. It is now time for the Head Coach Dan Day Show, or the Dan and Dan Show, like we like to call it. And the Coach Day Show is brought to you by our friend State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Murraysville. Coach, this is unbelievable.
Finally.
How long has it been? We're finally here. Thursday night football at Offutt Field against Wheeling, which I think is a game that maybe we can play for a long time. Two more local-ish teams, not much distance in between you. But the bottom line is we're playing football.
We're back,
and you guys are playing against somebody else.
We are back. We got the Dan and Dan Show. Coach London said this is his favorite part of the week, is going on and watching the Dan and Dan Show. So, no, it's great. It is great to be back.
Coach, just give us a sense of what the anticipation is like this week in practice and even through camp to finally be able to get to play after COVID wiped out.
No, absolutely. It's been somewhat having to juggle, just nerves, in general, but the excitement, anticipation. I think one of our challenges as a team heading into this game, and this is something that I would say would be an advantage if you did play in the spring, was it hasn't been as long, for them. It's been 600 some days for us, right? So since the last time we took the field. So I think one of our challenges is to not be too juiced. You've seen me at whether it be practice or pregame, or I like to bring a lot of energy to what we do. But I think on Saturday it's going to be, or Thursday tonight, it's going to be a little bit of a different approach in terms of being a little bit more calm, and part of that is I think their nerves and anticipation is going to be so high that I want to try to keep them a little more balanced than normal. So
basically you don't need to get them to that point,
not at all.
Right? They're already
not at all.
There.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Talk a little bit about how difficult it was, not having the season last year. These kids are here to play football.
Right.
And they wanted to obviously play that season. But then again, as we talked before, maybe a silver lining to be able to get the kids more comfortable with your system, to be able to get them in the weight room and everything. So how did that kind of turn out when you think about both of those factors?
For sure. And when you talk about that silver lining, right, as a coach, I think it's easy to equate that, and it's easy for us, but it's our jobs, right, is to be able to see long term what we're going to get out of this down the road, right? But for the players, I think that was incredibly difficult, right, to be able to go through spring, really all the way back to fall, right, of coming in, being on campus, working out, but not really being fully together. It's really hard for them to see that, light at the end of the tunnel when you're talking that game day being so far away. So there was definitely a lot of challenge on, understanding the purpose, continuing to, you could never let up on the reason, right? We didn't play in the spring, so we had that full year that we had to kind of keep them locked in and make sure they were ready to go. And I know, Dan, we've talked before, the silver lining from a physical aspect was our strength development. And I'm really hopeful that we'll all see that, tonight. That's what I want to be able to show in that improvement, especially in the offensive line and our defensive front, the difference in our strength improvement. But I think that was for sure the silver lining. And the other aspect, I would say, we were able to really grow in this time through the adversity of COVID, but us still being able to be together. I think that really helped build our player-to-player relationships, player-to-coach relationships, just what our football family is, I think, became that much stronger through the adversity of COVID and us kind of figuring out how to do that together.
And we're going to be talking with Jaden Emberton Gaines at our Griffin Player Spotlight, and he was mentioning something similar. What did you do over COVID? Spend some time with the family, I'm sure, but did you check into Netflix at all? Or was there... What was the typical night in the Coach Day house?
Yeah, hung out a lot, with the family, and just had the ability to be around. My wife had a child right before she was born last summer, so we had just had our fourth child, and typically we're not around in the fall, so it was the ability to it was the ability to be around, family. But I am a little bit of a Madden guy.
I've heard.
So I took that time to play Madden, and I really.
You go online at all and trash
I did.
talk?
Oh yeah. Well, not the trash talk part, but I did play a lot online, and I really think my wife. That's probably the part she hated the most.
Sure.
Because if you're a football coach and you're playing Madden, I shouldn't lose.
No.
Right. So when I lose, it drives me insane.
That's a reflection on you as a coach.
It drives me.
Mad.
Yeah. Right. But it's not. It's not. But yeah, that I spent some time there and actually played with some of my coaching friends that I kind of grew up the ranks through, and one out in Arkansas, and we would play together. This is a good way to stay connected.
Yeah. Absolutely. So. When you look at the fact that you guys have practiced so much and had camp and everything, and the whole silver lining thing, I mean, it's very important that you got that work in, but sometimes I guess we forget that you haven't played an actual game.
For sure.
Since 2019, and now you have to open tonight against a Wheeling team that did play
For sure.
Abbreviated spring season. So, is there an advantage to Wheeling there a little bit, that the fact that you guys haven't played an actual game?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to admit it, but I think so. And what I mean by, the advantage I would say you have is week one, it doesn't matter if you're covering high school football, college football, professional football, right? Week one is largely going to come down to procedural execution. You know what I mean? Like pre-snap, not getting into those issues of penalties or alignment, or just things that you haven't, been able to work out live. That's what week one is all about, right? So our week one in doing that and seeing the live procedural aspect, this will be the first time for our guys, like I said earlier, 600 some days. So, that ability even to have 4 games in the spring, you work out some of that, right? Your guys are a little more refreshed to that. They remember, what it feels like when it's live and there are referees. So that's the part I'm probably most, I don't want to say concerned, right? But just anxious. How do we handle a game environment again, because it's been so long, and we've tried to prepare that as much as possible, and I'm anxious to see how our guys adapt.
When you look at the 2019 roster, compare it with the 2021 roster, it's pretty similar. I know you have a lot of new guys, but there are a lot of guys that decided to stay as Seton Hill Griffins. That has to really excite you that these guys said, hey, we want to stay here and we want to win here.
Right, and not just, exciting for any coach that would be in this situation, right? But this is my place, right? To do it here at Seton Hill, and those guys are having that same passion, that we had to build a program from the ground up. That's what these guys want to do, and reestablish what we can be as, a school where you're going to get a phenomenal education, but also a top-notch football experience. And that's what our guys are so hungry to prove we can deliver both, and we are both, and that's why tonight is so pivotal with this group, to have this opportunity to take that first step in really showing and cementing that we are ready to arrive.
So tell us a little bit about camp and how it went and kind of what your schedule was.
Yeah. I mean, it was, with NCAA rules continuing to, I don't want to say restrict, but it really kind of tapers physical, time, and you got to somewhat, you figure out how to make that up in the meeting room, and that's where that's the biggest difference, high school to college in terms of camp, is our camps are so much more mental than it is physical. I mean, now we don't have 2 days, so you're going to practice 2.5 hours, on a day, and then we're still going to have the entire day to meet about it, So our install schedule's pretty fast. We threw a lot at the guys, so we'd have an install, practice, review, every day. So being able to go through that, we were also, with that time, I think camp is an important opportunity to get better at football, sure, but also build bonds, and camaraderie. And we were able to go down to the War Memorial Pool for a night, so we took the team down there and
saw that on social media.
Saw the big boys going down the slide, so I was holding my breath there a little bit, make sure that slide
make sure that
stayed up there.
You do any cannonballs or anything?
No. It was all about the guys, although they took it as a personal challenge to make sure each coach entered the pool one way or another, right?
Oh, okay.
Your own will or not.
Yeah,
so all the coaches ended up in the pool.
Sure they did, yeah. Coach, we talk about camp, and when you look at this team as it's constructed, What excites you the most right now heading into tonight's game?
Well, Dan, I would say, I don't remember the first time we ever actually sat down and talked, right? But maybe December, January, when we first got here, and I talked in that meeting about how we were constructing our roster, right? Run the football, play great defense, right? And I think our receivers sometimes cringe when I say that, because by run the football, I don't mean we're, obviously never going to throw it, right? But that's how we wanted to construct our roster. Run the football, play great defense. And I feel like we are finally at that place where you will feel that. I'm not just talking about that. That is now who we are, to be able to be in multiple tight end sets. We have 3 running backs that I think would compete to be a number 1 anywhere, honestly. We don't have 1, 2, 3. We have 1A, 1B, 1C. I mean, it's incredible, the depth of that position and the way the O-line's playing. So being able to run the football and play great defense behind that defensive front, being able to, what I feel will allow us to be the most successful in the field. I feel like we are finally schematically there.
Well, tell me a little bit about your offensive line. In 2019, they were young, and again, I know they don't still have a ton of, game playing time. But as you mentioned, they get into the weight room, and they hit it hard, and now they're
66 yards per game, 2019. That's what we ran the ball for, right? Now, I don't know how you're going to be successful at any program, 66 yards rushing per game. They know that number. They've heard that number. I would venture a guess that number will be significantly higher in 2019 or 2021. That's the group that's going to do it. I mean, the way that they're able to play, the physical style of football we're playing up front. And honestly, talk about the guys coming back, like that group has been together now for a while. So there's a lot of camaraderie. Our communication is on point. Not just what's really good for us is communication's good with those 5. But again, even the guys coming in right behind them have been here for a while. So there's communication. We don't lose that, when one of those next guys come in, so we feel really, really, truthfully, we feel pretty deep at the O-line position, where at first that was, I feel like our Achilles heel in 2019. So I feel really good, about those guys. If anybody's, jealous about the offensive line, ask Coach Barabee, right? I think he'd be the one that would love this group, because they're playing some pretty good football.
Yeah, former Seton Hill quarterback, now on the coaching staff. You mentioned the depth you have at running back, and you definitely do. Logan Weiland, Valentino, Jaquan McGriff, Clutter. I mean, like you mentioned, a 1, 2, and 3A, and then I'm sure if someone goes down,
we're still good.
Christian can get in there too. How much is that going to help out your running game this year, having that much depth?
It's incredible, and we can really somewhat tailor what those guys do well, and not to say that it'll be, only one guy running outside zone, or, not truly taking plays away from people. We can tailor, like, hey, this guy's really good at, this, like, what we'll be able to do with Jai, not just as a running back, but then being able to get into some empty sets by flexing him out, because he's got phenomenal hands. He's just a great athlete. I mean, he's one of the type of, he's the type of player that you get that ball in his hands at any moment, he can go the distance, right? And then Logan Weiland is just unique, that I've been around few college players that run the ball like he does. I mean, he runs with bad intentions, and he lowers his shoulders, and man, a lot of guys don't know how to handle that, and truthfully, some don't want to, and Mike is almost the perfect mix of both of those skill sets. There's nothing that Mike doesn't do well, and so we know he's the other aspect of all 3 of those guys. You're going to see them all the time throughout this entire season.
Chris Jones had a solid camp. I know going into camp there was some competition, I guess, at the quarterback position. So how did that kind of turn out then?
Yeah, I think we are credit to Chris Jones. I mean, we are finally seeing the quarterback we've always known he could be. He was always an athlete, and we even used him in that way in 19 at times. So he was always an athlete, but he really took it to heart to be a quarterback, and be able to make great decisions, making the right throws, but also, right, because of our style of play and being again, not a run-first mentality, but just a run-heavy mentality. If we get this look, let's make sure we're running the football. And he has taken to be a student of the game to heart, to be able to put us in those looks when necessary.
We've talked a lot about the offense, but I know the defense has been very impressive, through camp, spring ball. What do you expect from the defense this year? And give us a little bit of insight on Jaden Emberton Gaines, who we're going to be talking about here in our Griffin Players Spotlight.
That's I'm offensive lineman, to my core and coach on the offense side of the ball. But our defense, and specifically our box, is what I've been excited to see for a very long time. So, and that's part of, when I say the anticipation of seeing where we are as a team, we've been competing now for 3 semesters, right? Just against the defense. And for the majority of those 3 semesters, they've taken it to us. Camp was, honestly, Dan, the first time in 3 semesters we've started to balance that out. So that's what I'm really excited about, because I feel like they have the ability to be dominant, right? So if we're starting to balance that out on the offensive side in the box, that's why I feel really, really good that we can be a great football team. But between honestly, you look at the whole front from ends. We got 3. We truly have 3 nose guards that can make some serious plays. And the way Jalen plays, he's a problem. J-Mac is incredibly smart, but is playing way more physical. Nario's the other guy in the box, and then Emberton Gaines, just his ability to go sideline to side. I thought he was good in 19. He's incredible right now. He's absolutely incredible. And speaking specifically to Jaden, just his leadership in what our culture is, and he talked, we've talked before, but he's also mentioned, his kind of role as the guy behind the scenes to, talking to his teammates and the older guys, like, hey man, we need to stick together. We need to make sure we're seeing this through. And when I hear those guys, the older guys, talk about what their plan is for our program, like being an alumni and the head coach, being able to be both is insanely exciting, because the things they talk about behind the scenes aren't just being able to win, right now. They're talking about how we can develop this program 2, 3, 4 years down the road by what they do right now. And it takes a very mature mindset to see that. And that's what Jaden has been through and through. I've coached a lot of players in my career, and very few I've ever had that has the leadership quality in terms of affecting a culture, an entire team, the way Jaden does. And that's all part of why he earned the opportunity to wear number 1.
Well, and he can leave an impact on the program, no matter how many wins. Hopefully it's a lot this year, but no matter how many wins you get, Coach, it's a kid that can kind of look back and say, look where the program is
Absolutely.
now. And I had a big role in that. And again, he will be wearing number 1. We'll talk with him about that coming up after we talk with Coach Day. It's a really cool thing. You'll hear from Jaden talking about that. Coach, who maybe is a guy or 2 guys that you didn't necessarily know that if they would get a lot of playing time this year, but really had good camps and kind of, deserve more playing time now that the season started?
Yeah, our right tackle is one. Daniel Morales was a guy that we knew had a lot of potential, but we didn't see a lot of it in 19, So we knew he could, but he just wasn't playing at that level. And then even through the spring, he was solid, but not like there was a battle there. We came out of camp, and as good as we're playing up front, as good as our left tackle Sean Berry plays consistently, Daniel might be our best player up front right now. So
that says a lot from 2019 to now.
Yeah, he's one of the guys we're most excited about his improvement. I don't know we would have been what we are without him. And another one, sometimes we'll play next to Daniel Morales is Daniel Cashmere. So he's playing tight end for us this year, took over the starting tight end role and has never looked back. So he's another guy that we really expect to have some big moments, moving forward within our offense. Defensively, I would say, 2 guys that really, really stood out just from, they've played before and you'll know their names, but the improvement, development, and the way they're playing now is Nario Walks. He's been an incredible, just transformation of not just his body and the way that he attacks things, but his mindset has been great. Another guy that was up for captain for our team. And then Jaden Mack, again, another guy that played a lot of football, but he was, at times he was kind of there, right? He was the 11th guy on the field, and he was not, he was typically in the right place, but not always kind of that impact play. And we've really started to feel his presence, and he is playing football at a different level. So those would be 4 guys I would say that have really, jumped off the page that we're excited to see.
Before we talk about Wheeling, since this is the first time we're chatting When you look at the PSAC, can you kind of give us a sense of what you see when you look at the conference this year?
What do you not see?
It's the same answer.
Yeah, right? I mean, my goodness, what do you not see? And it's part of, it's part of why I was so excited to come back, in the challenge of, oh man, Seton Hill doesn't, belong in this league football-wise, right? I know you look at all of our other sports and we're top-notch, right? And we just haven't hit our stride in terms of football in the PSAC, and that's something that I love, that challenge of being able to match wits with some really, really good coaches, right? And being able to establish just our culture, the recruiting battles you have, just every aspect of the PSAC. It's arguably the most competitive conference in Division II, sending 5 out of 7 from Region 1 in 2019. I don't see that dropping off anytime soon, with who you're going to play. So, I think on our schedule right now, we have 3 of the top 25, if I'm not mistaken, right out of the gate, and see, how the other guys shape up as we get there. We ended up playing 5 ranked teams in 2019. So it's daunting in that sense that you never have a moment to kind of catch your breath, right? But it's also, it's a fun challenge. It's fun to, figure out how to, how you can't really just go into this and say, we're just flat out going to be better. You have to scheme things up every week. You have to figure out your best matchups week to week and really, really play that chess game in this league.
Coach, we'll talk about Wheeling University next. After this timeout for State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Murraysville, we will continue with the Dan and Dan show as we count you down to kickoff here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
It's not just a home or a car. It's the 6 months you save for your Ultra HD flat screen, just in time for football season. And the overtime you worked for that 3rd car, so your teen can drive himself to practice. While other insurance companies just see them as a bundle or combo, State Farm agent Alex Hetrick sees your home and car as things you work really hard for. Alex understands what your things really mean to you. Talk to State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Murraysville for your home and auto insurance today.
Hi, my name's Mark and I am a political science major at Seton Hill University. Initially, I came to Seton Hill for pre-law, but loved my poli-sci classes so much, I made it my focus. Ultimately, my goal is to hold political office and make a positive impact on people's lives. For me, it was the faculty, both in my major and out, that made my Seton Hill experience so incredible.
Welcome back to the Coach Day Show here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Seton Hill and Wheeling coming up. And Coach, let's talk about the Cardinals. And first, tell us a little bit about how this game came together. I mentioned at the beginning of the interview that this seems like a game that maybe could happen at the beginning of every year. There's not too much distance between you guys geographically. Talk about how it came together.
Yeah, and that was a big reason, when they started football, just why we had, reached out and started having that conversation for, just a mutual opportunity of potentially scheduling this somewhat long term because of that location. It gives us the opportunity to have another same-day travel game, and being able to stay pretty local, which is good for not only, obviously budgets in terms of athletics, but also just our player experience, and not having to be on a bus for 9 hours, right, to play, a quality opponent, right, and having that ability to have a little bit of a rivalry when you are that close becomes exciting.
Obviously, they have a very young program, and Seton Hill is a younger program as well, so that kind of makes it exciting too. They did play in the spring, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm curious, since you guys didn't actually play a spring season, do you still get access to that film for them that in the spring, or do you have to go back and look at when they played 2019?
Yeah, I mean, we had the 19 film, but we were able to watch the games when they were streamed, right?
Okay.
So I had the ability to kind of break that down as they were playing in the spring, right? But to be honest with you, Dan, it's hard to. You kind of have to take that a little bit with a grain of salt, right? Like it was a 4-game season. Is that who they are? Was it more for just player development? Well, you know what I mean? So it was hard to really, you break it down, you look at those tendencies, but, it's hard to hang your hat on that for week 1 in terms of what we are preparing for in terms of our plan of attack.
So that being said, if you could put on your professor hat, Coach, and kind of tell us a little bit about what you do see from this wheel.
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, credit to any coach. They play really hard. I mean, you're going to see a lot of effort. You're going to see, guys flying around the field, special teams as well. They play really hard. I think their offensive line has been drastically improved. I know they have a new quarterback that'll start for them coming into this game, a transfer quarterback that we know is pretty dangerous, so he'll be a good player. Pretty good skill, on the back end as well. Receivers, I know they have an all-conference performer at receiver, and a really, really solid running back too. So, I think they have a lot of pieces that are in place to they have the potential to be pretty dangerous, in the way they play. And they're somewhat, offensively from what we've, been able to see, and I don't know if this is still their mentality going into this year or not, but a little bit of a feast or famine kind of big play mentality, on offense, and not a ton of just line up and sustain drives, but they'll take some shots, and try to win some one-on-one matchups that can be a problem. And defensively, part of what allowed a lot of their success in the spring, they forced a lot of turnovers, and that was something obviously we've talked about a lot, taking care of the football in just ways that, because they play with such high effort, they got a lot of turnovers off of, just a tip ball, or just not a clean catch. And those guys do a great job because their effort and energy of capitalizing on those turnovers. And that's really, was kind of their keys to victory as they were moving forward through that spring season. So taking care of the football and being patient to make sure, we're relying on what we're seeing and have the ability to, the defense coordinator does a great job of they're pretty disciplined. So what you're going to get, So on our end, that means we have to be disciplined in terms of line up, and if something's successful, run it again, right? Like make them have to stop that, because sometimes you can almost get too cute, right? And switch things up more than you need to. So our challenge there is to make sure we're disciplined.
So what would be then, I know you've kind of touched on it already, your keys to victory here tonight?
Yeah, we absolutely. We talk about this as a team. And what we do and what we talk about. So we give 3 keys offensively, 3 keys defensively, and 3 keys on special teams. So being week 1 is we have to eliminate pre-snap penalties. I mean, that is a killer in week 1. Just your operation overall has to be, a big part of what we're doing.
Coach, I feel like if you win that battle, comparing it to the other team, in week one,
it's critical.
Those mistakes. So if
critical.
you win that battle, I'm sure it'll be very important.
Absolutely. Second for us, and obviously just a major point of emphasis is running the football. So that's something we absolutely have to do, is establish the line of scrimmage and run the football with the stable backs we have and the improved offensive line. And lastly, I don't know that this will, I sure as heck hope it's not a shootout, but I don't know that this game really has the recipe to be a shootout. So, with somewhat limited attempts, we've challenged our guys to operate at 75% completion rate. So if we're in that area for this first game, I feel like we're going to be doing really, really well offensively. Defensively, we have to limit the run game. I mean, that's where it all starts, especially with the structure of defense. We have to limit the run game. And they're going to have some success in the air. It's just kind of how they're built. It's hard to completely stop it. But what we need to do, our second key to victory defensively, is have to have suffocating pressure on third down. So we didn't have as much backfield and sack production as we wanted to in 2019. That's what this defense is designed to produce. We didn't have as much as we needed throughout the season. I'm excited to see this group, and the improvement of the box. So we got to suffocate them on third down. That has to be, part of our emphasis, defensively, and also challenge those guys to just make sure we're +1, right? We got to be +1 in the turnover category, and everything that we're able to accomplish, we have to do that. Special teams wise, we have to be 100% on PAT field goal. We cannot leave points on the board week 1. No block kicks in anything we do. And then lastly, it goes along with just that procedure. No penalties on our special teams unit, and doing things the right way.
Well, Hunter the punter's our man.
Yeah.
So I know he's going to get into a couple today. Well, hopefully you won't need him a lot.
Yeah, right.
But if you do need him, he's going to get into a couple.
Yeah, he'll get it. Yep, no question.
Coach, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see you guys out on off the field. Thinking now a little bit later tonight, you're going to be leading this team
Yep.
on to off it in front of a crowd. How psyched is that?
Yeah, I mean,
I know you're going to stay calm, right? That's the
Yeah.
game plan today. But
year one was something. Like doing that for the first time as an alumni, that was an amazing feeling. But man, I've thought about this one for a long time. It's going to be special to lead this team out there in our season that we feel like is our turnaround and our big step forward. So I'm insanely excited.
can't wait to work with you this year,
Thank you.
Coach. Again, that is Coach Dan Day of the Seton Hill Griffins. Great guy, great coach, and hopefully the Griffins will get off to a great start tonight as well against Wheeling. Speaking of great, we have a great player coming up next, our Griffin Player Spotlight with Jaden Emberton Gaines, who led the PSAC in tackles per game in 2019. That interview is coming up next as we count you down to kickoff. It's Griffins game day as Seton Hill takes on Wheeling on Thursday night here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Sendell Mitsubishi. Buying your new vehicle is as easy as stop, shop, and roll. Stop wasting time in the dealership. Shop online in just a few easy steps. Roll on home in your new Mitsubishi or have it delivered to your door. SendellMitsubishi.com. At Sendell Volkswagen, buying your new vehicle is as easy as stop, shop, and roll. Stop wasting time in the dealership. Shop online in just a few easy steps. Roll on home in your new Volkswagen or have it delivered to your door. SendellVolkswagen.com.
Welcome back to Griffins Game Day on the Westmoreland Sports Network as we count you down to kickoff. Seton Hill and Wheeling coming up from Offutt Field. You heard from Coach Dan Day, and now it is time for our first Griffin Player Spotlight of the year with Jaden Emberton Gaines, redshirt senior linebacker from Lemon Grove, California. And Jaden, so good to see you, man. I think the last time we got a chance to talk to you on the air a couple of years ago, and Brittany talked with you, and now we talk again, and man, after missing all of last year, I can't imagine how excited you are to get going here today against Wheeling.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. It's a big game for us, being off for 2 years. There's a lot of things that, can happen in 2 years' time. And, we've stayed together as a team, we've stayed strong, and we're ready for week one.
102 tackles in 10 games in 2019 for this guy. He led the PSAC in tackles per game with 10.2 tackles per game. So before we get into the team goals and maybe some goals for yourself, tell me a little bit about how difficult it was for you and for the team to go through what you did last year and not get to play a fall season.
Yeah, it was very hard. Everybody wants to play. This is the sport that we go to school to play. So, of course, we're very competitive, and it was hard. Taking a year off, hard staying dedicated, and watching film when you have no games to play, and trying to better your game when it's a year until you'll step on the field again. But I think overall as a team we did a good job, and we're ready to go.
You're a redshirt senior, so through COVID, you could have moved on. You could have decided, I want to go finish out my master's and then just not play football. But you decided to come back. And not only you, but a number of other players decided to come back. When I was looking at the 2019 roster, like I said to Coach, there's not much difference other than new guys, from 2019. So a lot of guys stayed on. Why was it important for you to continue playing Seton Hill football for this year?
Me personally, Seton Hill gave me a chance out of high school that not a lot of other colleges gave me, and I just wanted to stick it out with them. I like the things that the new coaching staff is doing, and Coach Day is changing the culture here, and I wanted to be a part of something special. Now,
you told me off the air that it wasn't just one or two players' decisions. You said you guys kind of came together as a team and said we all want to play out, our final year for some of you, and then, but we all want to stay at Seton Hill. Is that kind of how everything worked out?
Yeah. So, over COVID, a lot of guys stayed in contact, and it made us really close as a group. And we, came together and we just said we want to play our last 1 to 2 years with this team and see the turnaround that we could make in that 2 year span for this program.
When you think back to when Coach Day took over to now, how much more have the guys bought into the system, bought into the program, and really that kind of stuff is almost second nature now?
Oh yeah, it's a night and day difference. And it's crazy to say in only 2 years that the big difference that they were able to make. And, you know, a lot of it is what they're able to do, but I do have to give credit to the guys just trusting these coaches, you know, because after everything that we went through with the old staff, you know, it would have been hard or it would have been easy to not give these coaches your trust right away, but a lot of guys, you know, dropped everything and left it in the past and trusted these coaches and turned a new page to our book.
Yeah, you know, like Coach Day said, they can only do so much. At some point, the players have to start trusting in the process. And obviously you guys have done that. So on the defensive side of the ball, now that you've been in the system, I know you only played now that 1 year because last year was wiped out because of COVID, but how much better does everybody understand what the coaches want from you guys, especially from an X's and O's standpoint? Is that kind of second nature now through the playbook?
Oh yeah, big time. You know, having that year off, even though we weren't able to be on the field, just studying the plays and watching film of our old games and seeing the little mistakes that we made, it definitely helped us clean up our game. You know, clean up the small details, the technical things that will help us get wins on Saturdays.
Yeah, and I asked Coach Day this question. Obviously, you wanted to play last fall, but do you think there was some benefit, I guess, to not have to worry about playing every week, where you could focus solely on that kind of stuff, the weight room, the playbook? Would you say there was maybe a little silver lining there, and you guys got some benefit out of it?
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely helped our team. Our coaches have said multiple times during camp, you know, we're not a young team anymore because we had that extra year to grow up, to mature in both our mindsets and physically in the weight room and on the field.
Your defense has a lot of veterans on it. What do you like most about your group on D this year?
I like the way that we play together. I mean, a lot of us have been together for a long time now, 2-3 years, and we really have gelled a lot, and our communication is way better on the field. So we know, you know, that, and we trust each other on the field.
Well, you guys should be stacked at linebacker. Not only we have you back, Jalen McDuffie, who's a monster, Mac as well, back, you know, the linebackers. What do you expect from that group this year?
I expect big things. I expect big things out of our linebacking core. Like you said, we got a lot of guys that have experience on the college field, and we've all been working very hard. We've all been working very hard since 2019 to get this program and get ourselves to the next level. So.
And I'm curious from your perspective. I mentioned the linebackers there, but who else on defense do you think is primed, you know, for a big year?
Nario Walks, he's going to have a good year for us, and Shane Noble, he's going to do some big things for us. That both of those guys played for us in 2019, and we have a few young corners that are going to be stepping up for us and playing some big roles. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
And I'm sure Fardy and Allen will be tuned in, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure he will be. That's for sure. What are some of the goals that you set for yourself this year?
For me personally, I want to be first team All-PSAC selection and All-American. Those are my goals. And I also want to have another over 100 tackle season. So,
in terms of team goals?
Team goals, we definitely want to be positive in the win column for sure. I mean, that's hands down across the board. Everybody wants that. And you know, we've been working hard, so we want to see where we can go as far as you know, PSAC champs, or even moving forward past that.
Now, you've changed your jersey number. It's a really cool story. You're wearing number 1 this year. This is a tradition that Coach Day has done. Can you tell us a little bit about that story and why you're wearing that number this year?
Yeah, so I mean, when the coaches got here in 2019, Coach Day sat me in his office and he challenged me to be a better leader, both on and off the field. And he said, you know, for the success of the program, that it's needed for me and needed out of a lot of our older guys on the team. And so, you know, I definitely took that personal, and I stepped my game up, both leading the team on and off the field. And I also, you know, work hard all the time when I go home, and when I'm out here in the summer, I'm always working hard and grinding to be the best version of myself, both on and off the field. And it paid off, and the coaches recognized that, and they were able to give me the number one. So I'm blessed to be able to wear that for our team.
Well, congratulations. You're certainly a leader on this team, and very well spoken too, Jade. So I enjoy talking to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So what do you enjoy most about playing football?
I would say the physicality. When I was younger, I was kind of a hothead, as a little kid, and my parents had to put me in something to be able to get that anger out. And it was football, and I fell in love with it and haven't looked back since.
What other positions did you play growing up? I mean, did you throw the ball at all? Did you get to run the ball at all back in the day?
I played running back. Yeah. Back in my day, yeah, I played running back.
In high school, or like midget ball coming through, or?
Yeah, so Pop Warner more so. In high school, I more so was a defensive guy, but I also did long snap in high school. So I like to say.
So you're emergency. Yeah. You're the brave last guy in case of emergency.
Exactly.
Long snap.
Exactly.
Give us a scouting report. You go up against Wheeling today. I'm sure that you're very excited to be playing in front of your fans too here at Offutt. But give us a little bit of a scouting report on Wheeling's offense. The things that they kind of like to do, what you've seen on tape.
They're a heavy RPO team, so they run pass option a lot. Other than that, I mean, they run some basic runs, inside zone, split zone, counter, things like that, and they do some nice things in the pass game that we got to stay ready for. So I'm excited for the matchup, and I think that we'll face up good against them.
Now, the RPO, does that test your discipline a little bit on defense?
Definitely.
How you play that?
Definitely, yeah. It definitely tests our discipline. We're going to have to, have our minds thinking the right thing based on the alignment of the offense and have our eyes in the right place. Can't be caught looking in the backfield and stuff like that because we'll lose those receivers behind us. So,
Jade, final question for you. What are you majoring in at Seton?
So I just graduated in December 2020 with my undergrad in exercise science.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And now I'm working on my MBA in management.
Very cool. Very cool. Jaden, thank you so much. I can't wait to watch you guys play this year. I know you're going to rack up over 100 tackles.
Yeah, appreciate it.
There you go. Jaden Everton Gaines, our Griffin Player Spotlight. And we'll be back. We continue on Griffin's Game Day, counting down to kickoff. Seton Hill and Wheeling coming up on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
And welcome back as we continue here on the pregame show on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Griffin's Game Day, presented by Sendell Motors in Greensburg. Sendell sells for less. I guess technically, TJ, it is game night. This one will be played about halfway under the lights, I would say, at least, with a 7 o'clock start time, and sunset probably right around 8 o'clock tonight. That's one thing that I've noticed, look at the schedule, is we're going to have a lot of games later on Saturdays as opposed to the typical early start times, maybe a little bit more atmosphere here at Offutt.
A lot of the games used to be like 2, 3 o'clock. You're right, Sean. Next week's on Saturdays at 6 o'clock. There's some 4 o'clock. So, yeah, going to be playing a lot under the lights here in downtown Greensburg this year.
Hopefully this place will be bumping if the Griffins have the season that some expect them to have. As you see the other action taking place in the PSAC, there is a lot of Thursday night football to kick off the campaign. Slippery Rock already underway. All the other games slated to begin also at 7 o'clock. And you heard a lot from Coach Day as well as Jaden Everton Gaines with our interviews with Dan Flickinger. Everton Gaines, TJ, wearing number 1. He is the leader of this team as designated by that special number. But really, I think the linebacking core as a whole will be the best unit on this team, which should be pretty deep at most positions. Maybe some questions in the secondary, but I think defensively up front and at the linebacker level, they should be really good. They expect to be much improved on the offensive line. Very deep at running back, and they have a lot of receivers that maybe give them a little bit more size than past years as well. It does seem like this team really did benefit, as crazy as it sounds, from the year away from game action.
Yeah, I agree. And again, last year they didn't play any games. They got a lot of work in the weight room with strength and conditioning, player development. And, now, as I said at the beginning, really, I guess the question is we have to see how all that work, how all that progression.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to call the toss before I flip it. Okay, flag is heads, and that dude is me. Okay, it's tails. Your call before I flip it is what?
Tails.
Tails? Okay, said tails. Okay, and it is tails. You've won the toss. You're going to take the ball. Which goal do you want to defend? You want to put your back over here, please? Put your back over here, please.
So thanks to Chris Smith, our sideline colleague, we heard that it will be Wheeling who will receive the opening kickoff. For those unaware, Wheeling University was for a long time known as Wheeling Jesuit. It is the same school, now renamed to just simply Wheeling University. And it is a new program for the Cardinals, just their second full season here in 2021.
Yeah, they went 1-10 in 2019. They played a 8-game exhibition in 2018, and then we mentioned earlier, Sean, they're now in the Mountain East Conference, and they went 2-2 last year in an abbreviated year.
But that's already signs of improvement. Their first real year. You mentioned 2018, it was an exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
They played primarily against junior varsity teams, so they got their real taste of college football at the D2 level in 2019. Their only win was the last game of the season at Concord University. They carried it over to going 2-2 in the spring, so they're not far removed from playing a higher level of football. We'll see if that carries over for them. On the other side, the Griffins, they're bigger, stronger. They probably bench press more and run a better 40, but none of that matters if it doesn't translate to success on the football field. That's what they're hoping to do, as you see the Griffins taking the field here in a pretty good show of support at Offutt Field in downtown Greensburg.
Yeah, I think, as I said, that's the big question, Sean. All the work that they've done in the off-season, or the off-season, and, of course, last year with no season, that's the question. How is it going to translate now when it's time to step on the field with another opponent, not playing against themselves? So we're going to get at least an idea tonight here when that happens here in just a few moments.
We mentioned Dan Day in his third year guiding the Griffins. On the other side, it's Zach Bruni, and at least by my calculations, it's his fourth year. You can sort of look at it a couple of different ways. He was hired when this program began, so he was the head coach in that 2018 season that was an exhibition.
Yeah.
To me, I still give him credit for a year there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, 2019, and then the 2020 season, which actually was pushed to the spring here in 2021. So fourth season by my calculations. If you want to classify it as otherwise, that's fine. But he has a pretty good resume, especially as a football player.
Yep.
His record as a quarterback, 27-1. Not too bad. And there you see the Griffins head man, Dan Day, playing for his alma mater, a 2009 Seton Hill grad. He went on to coach at a number of different stops, but came back home for the 2019 season, in which the Griffins did prove to be a little bit more competitive. And now we'll see if that trend continues here in 2021, as we're just about set to kick off the campaign. Griffins wearing the white jerseys here at home, and the Cardinals wearing the road blacks. Sean Myers, TJ DeStefano here on the call. We'll be joined by Chris Smith down on the sideline, who will chime in with his insight.
Hey guys, Smitty here. You got me?
We got you,
We
Chris.
got you.
All right, focused energy down here on the Griffins sideline. That is for sure, especially Coach Day came out and just had a look at the eye of the tiger is what we saw. So let's see how they go on this opening kickoff.
And I will be paying close attention to this kickoff because it is probably the only true freshman that we will see tonight for Seton Hill. He happens to be a 250-pound kicker. Jack Wagner from Wilson in Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania. He has an absolute cannon of a leg. Chris Canaday back for the Cardinals. They also have Ricardo Henry. And it's angled towards Kennedy. He's in the end zone, but will bring it out. And he is hit shy of the 15-yard line. A great start for Seton Hill as Zach Williams, the local product, in on the tackle. The former Greater Latrobe Wildcat.
I'll tell you what, guys, I had my eyes on Williams the whole way down that field, and he was zeroed in from the kick.
So just 6 seconds in, Griffin's faithful already have something to cheer about. This drive will begin at the 14-yard line. We'll run through the offense for the Cardinals momentarily. Their quarterback, pretty notable, Trent Jackson. He was at West Virginia University prior to coming to Wheeling as the first play goes nowhere. The Griffins all over it. Stop for probably a 1-yard loss. Let's take a look at the offensive line, left to right. It's Cade Rodabaugh, number 53. Isaiah Lewis, number 59. The center is number 70, Aaron Hess. Jalen Dickerson, number 50. And Jack Fitzgerald, number 63, rounds out the starting offensive line. We'll get to the skill positions after this 2nd and 11. Fake of the QB keeper. Instead, the handoff goes up the middle, and there is absolutely nowhere to go as Cy Ali, a local product, driven down to the turf by Jalen McDuffie, among others. Ali, a pretty accomplished running back, the redshirt junior from Pittsburgh by way of Obama Academy, but nowhere to go. A no gain brings up a 3rd and 11.
Yeah, 2 running plays, nothing. And we've seen and we heard from Coach Day how the improvement in the defensive line, seen it early.
Jackson back to pass. He is hit. The ball incomplete. He was fortunate to get it out in time. Alexander Wade, the free safety, redshirt senior, came in on the blitz, put the hit on. The defense forces a 3 and out.
Excellent start to the game, Sean, there. 3 and out, and Wheeling couldn't even move the ball. Actually lost a yard on that play, and they're going to be punting here, and good field position coming up for the Griffins in their first offensive possession.
Ali, the running back, had to pick up Eberton Gaines, and that allowed Wade to come in uncontested. Matt Greenwood, the punter, from his own end zone. Pretty good punt high in the air, where it's snatched by Michael Alardo, and he is brought down at around the 45-yard line. One of the more accomplished offensive weapons for the Griffins in Alardo gets this team pretty good starting field position for their first drive of 2021.
At the 45, I believe Alardo missed a good bit of time back in 19 with some injuries, but he's been a key piece of this offense, so it's good to see him back out there. There's a flag down as well.
Alardo is, quite frankly, still probably not at 100%. If he was, would likely be a focal point of this offense. They'll still work him in, but Coach Day just doesn't know how much he's going to be able to play.
Yeah.
Still trying to work through some injuries as we await the penalty marker and the explanation subsequent.
So again, good start by the defense. Now we'll see the Seton Hill offense here for the first time this year. And we talked about the running backs. They got a bunch of them. Improvement on the offensive line in 2019.
Well, they have not moved the football yet, and now they will back it up. So it goes against Seton Hill.
Block in the back.
So they're going to walk this off down to the 30-yard line. So
that hurts.
A net loss of 15 on that penalty. Griffin's offense, they have a much improved offensive line, left to right, as Sean Berry, number 53. Big Prince McCarthy, number 79. Zach Kinter, the birthday boy, number 77 at center. Trevor Mitchell, 69, and Daniel Morales, 66 on the right side. Chris Jones, the quarterback, takes the snap. Hands it off to Logan Weiland. Not much running room for Weiland, the redshirt senior, as he gets a yard, maybe 2.
You know, we talked about the offensive line. If you remember in 2019, they were starting 4 true freshmen on the offensive line.
And it's a lot of those same guys. They're just
Yes.
more experienced and more physically ready to go.
Yeah, and I talked to Coach Dane. He said this offensive line to him now looks like a PSAC offensive line.
Guys, you took the word right out of my mouth. These guys are large human beings. When I was walking by the O-line a couple plays ago, I was dwarfed. So let's see if they can move this willing defensive line around.
Jones gets the snap, pump fake, steps up, airs it out. Taro Gaither elevates, makes the catch. Did he stay in? He did. What a catch by Taro Gaither. Another redshirt senior on a great throw from Jones as the Griffins hit their first big play of the season.
Huge gain there. We just talked about the offensive line. Look at all the time Chris Jones has back there. Steps up. What an amazing catch there. And into wheeling territory are the Griffins. Look at that. Nice job to know where he was with his feet right along that deer sideline.
27-yard pickup on that connection as Jones goes under center. Weiland, and he shows some strong running, ultimately brought down, but not before a nice pickup. Rich White, very prolific tackler as a cornerback, in on the stop, called a gain of about 3 yards for Weiland. Rest of the starting offense for Seton Hill, the receivers, number 11, John Makel, the fourth, Mark Bales, number 17, and the aforementioned Taro Gaither, number 10. The running back, number 8, Logan Weiland. Daniel Casimir, number 44, the tight end, and Jones, number 2, the quarterback. No, not a good snap. Jones does well just to get on it. That actually looked like it was more towards, I believe that was Jaquan McGriff.
Guys, that could have been a direct snap to McGriff.
Well, it turned out to be a direct snap to the turf, but I think that might have been, the call there.
Yeah.
Oh, hard to tell from there. Mentioned Zach Kintner celebrating his birthday today, but that was not a good birthday gift.
There's a miscommunication there, and that ends up a loss on the play. Big 3rd and 20 now here for the Griffins from just about midfield.
And you see the play clock down to 3 seconds on our screen. Jones gets it. Wide receiver screen, and it's through the hands of Bales. They absolutely love the talent of Mark Bales, but unable to make his first collegiate catch as that one went through his hands, and now the punt team will come out.
One of those there that you got to catch in open space. And unfortunately, the bad snap there turns what could have been a good drive there, a promising drive, into a punt situation for Seton Hill.
And one of our favorite players is out, TJ. Hunter the punter. Hunter Miller.
We'll see if they can pin Wheeling back here now.
Canada back to receive it. And the Griffins, did they have to use a timeout? No, they did not get the timeout, so it's a 5-yard penalty. That's not necessarily the worst thing in the world from this part of the field, though. Maybe it would actually make it a little bit easier for Miller to try to pin the Cardinals deep. Seton Hill, preseason 6 out of 8 teams in the PSAC West. It's a low punt by Miller. It will take a Griffins bounce, and this could take a great bounce. Look at this. Inside the 5, down to about the 2-yard line. Thought maybe the penalty would make it slightly easier for the Griffins coverage team, and it turns out to be the case.
There we go. Make Wheeling
That looked like one of Flick's 150-yard wedge shots. Put it within a yard of the cup, guys.
You must be talking about another Flick. So the Griffins defense with a chance to get after it again. And what we saw in that opening drive, TJ, was nothing short of impressive defensively.
Yeah. And we talked about it. Coach Day said he thought that their box, being up front, and the linebackers really have improved, and that's the strength of this defense, and that would help take the pressure off that secondary, which is probably, as we talked about, maybe the weakest part of the defense. So let's see if they can continue that off their first possession.
Drive begins at the 2-yard line. And a little bit of breathing room gained right now as Ali gets the carry and finally gets a positive gain for the Cardinals.
Yeah, they're giving him 2 yards.
Well, that's every yard counts when you're that deep in your own territory.
Again, not much running room. This is their first pass.
That pass is complete, shy of the first down marker. On the reception is Jaquan Davidson. Very accomplished local player. Remember him at Elizabeth Ford. Went on to play at both Duquesne and Pitt before settling with Wheeling University. As a 3rd and 3 ball at the 9-yard line, they have to get beyond the 12-yard line. Blinding sun right now from our perspective. As a pass tipped, and the Griffins have an interception.
Guys, we're going to have a roughing the passer call here. It's going to be first down Wheeling, but a great play.
Yeah, that was Wade, who we've already seen with a quarterback pressure, who seemingly had an interception. But to Chris Smith's point, that will not stand as a result of the penalty.
Yeah, I saw that coming. As soon as I saw it, well, I didn't know it was going to be on Seton Hill, but as soon as the referee threw the flag behind the play.
Well, let's look at it right here. That's
Number
Mack.
7, yep.
Yeah, and that's a hit that Jade Mack just cannot afford to dish out.
That's a killer because, like you said, Sean, there's an interception. And
it's basically guaranteed points for the Griffins with that interception. Well, their defense has been really good so far that they'll have to come up and make another stop. So the Cardinals advance to the 24-yard line. Handoff goes up the middle, and a massive humanity as the Cardinals try to push the POW forward to get some extra yardage. Ali on the carry again. He's a workhorse. Led the team in the abbreviated season with 35 carries. Had 135 back in 2019. Just shy of 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. Those were all team highs for him.
Yeah, Ali working very hard for the yardage on the ground right now because there's just not much running room as the Griffins doing a good job in all the gaps right now.
There's a pickup of 3. Second, they call it 4 now, 2nd and 6. Fake of the handoff, Jackson looking to pass. Incomplete, trying to connect with Davidson. A dangerous throw as that one was nearly undercut. The Griffins there defensively.
That was through Davis's hands. He might have been able to pull that in. I know he was going to the ground, but one he might have been able to haul in.
And sometimes when you have a defensive player jump in front, it makes it difficult for the receiver to keep that concentration. 3rd and 6, ball at the 28-yard line. 8.5 minutes remaining. Screen pass is tipped and incomplete as the Griffins again getting into the backfield. Nelson Gideon, the redshirt senior, with the pass batted out of the air.
Yep, got the big paws up to Gideon there. Incomplete, and the Griffins hold here again, Sean, and another punt coming up for Wheeling. Another good defensive stand. Nice job to recover after that roughing the passer penalty.
Gideon definitely showing some big-time vertical to get up and make that pass deflection to bring up 4th down.
So the Griffins will have Alardo back once again, awaiting the punt from Matt Greenwood. And we have a whistle.
The coach is up here saying false start.
That's the case, so that'll back up Wheeling. Well, the first game of the season, you're going to probably see more mistakes on both sides, and so far that has played out.
I mean, you don't want to see mistakes, but if this is the time to see the mistakes, it's in the very first game, and that way you can work on correcting them as you move through the season so it doesn't continue to happen.
Yeah, especially once these teams get into their conference play. That is a sky-high punt. Alardo signals a fair catch, makes it in front of the 30-yard line. And there is no flag this time, so the Griffins will start at the 31-yard line. 8:22 remaining in the first quarter of play. These teams have never met, but we mentioned that this Wheeling University football team, a very new program. Did not get a chance to run down the defense for Wheeling. Their D-line at the ends, 22 Jason Simon and 3 Brandon Munoz. Their D-tackle, 52 Chase Nolan, and the nose guard, 58 Jordan Gardner. 3 linebackers, number 44 Dalton Hoover, 5 Ryan Gorman, and 13 Josiah Wright, who also has some characteristics of a defensive back. We'll get to the secondary after this first down play. Jones looking to pass over the middle, out of the reach of his intended target. It was McGriff, the running back, unable to haul it in. The secondary for the Cardinals, number 11 Rich White and number 6 Aaron Finch are the cornerbacks. The free safety Jermichael Isom and strong safety Max Baker wears number 18. 2nd and 10 for the Griffins, a team that we do expect to rotate through 3 running backs. We've seen Weiland, McGriff out there. We'll probably see a lot of Michael Valentino as well. 4 wide receivers. The handoff goes to McGriff. Ball's on the turf. He fell back on top of it, but it has been a sloppy start both ways.
Yeah, we've had penalties and turnovers. Everyone trying to shake the rust off here in this first game of the season.
In the first game in a long time for Seton Hill.
As you brought up the depth.
Yep.
You guys brought up the depth at running back. We were talking with athletic director Chris Snyder. He was speaking about the scrimmage last week and how much depth they do indeed have at running back.
It's one of the deepest positions on the team.
Jones under pressure. Throws that one away. No, he did not have the arm strength to get it to Phillips, and he did well to avoid a sack, but not a good drive there for the Griffins offense as they go 3 and out, and should lead to pretty good field position for Wheeling now.
Yeah, both teams really playing field position right now. Again, sloppy series there for the Griffins on offense, and again now Wheeling back around the 35-yard line to receive the punt.
Take a look again at that near fumble. It was Gardner who punched it out, and McGriff able to fall back on it. Miller, fair catch signaled, and it is made at about the 35. Flag comes down. One of the Griffins.
Could be a block in the back, guys.
Yeah, that was Williams again. We've called Zach Williams' name twice now on special teams as he was taken down to the turf, and if Chris's prognostication is correct, it would back up the Cardinals inside the 30-yard line.
I'll put 5 down on it, Myers.
TJ says otherwise.
Oh.
Well, it's a holding,
Yeah.
so basically the same. So, TJ, a game of field position so far, and the Griffins have been a little bit better in that regard.
They have been, yeah. Battlefield position. And again, it's been sloppy. We've seen turnovers. We've just seen penalties. And again, Seton Hill hasn't played since 2019. Wheeling played 4 games in 2020 in the spring. So, again, this is the time where you want to, work these things out so this isn't happening as you progress into the season when the conference games get underway.
Third drive for the Cardinals. They began at their 14, their 2, and now they're 25.
5 penalties total so far. 2 for Wheeling, 3 for Seton Hill.
And we're going to have another one on a delay of game. And that's never a good penalty, but especially not to start a drive. By the way, I know you're curious.
A lot of first game laundry out on this field tonight, fellas. How about it?
Yeah, the referee's getting a workout. I did not get a chance to finish the starting lineup offensively for the Cardinals. Their receivers, Jaquan Davidson, Chris Canaday, and Ryan Lafayette. As that's incomplete, looking for Davidson. The defense has been good for the Griffins LaFollette, I mentioned, he is a terrific receiver, led the team in both receptions and receiving yards in each of the past 2 years. Have not seen one thrown his way yet, but expect him to be a factor, as will the tight end, number 15, Tristan Ballard. We mentioned Ali, number 4, the running back, behind quarterback Trent Jackson, the transfer from WVU.
Look out.
Down he goes as the Griffins come up with the sack. Gideon among the players in there once again. Also in pursuit, Jalen McDuffie.
Yeah, some of the big names on the defense in there. I believe it was Gideon again was the first man, and then the cavalry arrived. And we've talked about this defense up front. They're really showing the improvement that we've heard about during the year off. Just look at them swarm to the ball.
Yeah, they met simultaneously. You get a half sack to Gideon and a half to McDuffie. McDuffie, 4 sacks in 2019 to lead the team. He also led the team in tackles in 2018 as a freshman, as Ali makes some moves in the open field but can get no further than the 20-yard line. Pickup of 11, but with 25 yards to go, well shy, and it'll lead to a punt scenario as Ali seemingly having a friendly conversation with Jaden Everton-Gaines.
So the battlefield position continues here, Sean.
Griffin's coming up big when they need to, guys. You just need to eliminate some of these mental miscues.
Well, with the exception of that one roughing the passer penalty, I don't think you could ask for anything more from this defense so far. It's a pretty good punt from Greenwood. Alardo takes a few steps in and barely snags that one, as he is able to hang on, and the Griffins will have their best starting field position of the night.
Yeah, right at their own 45 here. But yeah, I agree, Sean. Besides a couple of these miscues like this, defense is playing very well here.
Good to hear our friend Gene Brisbane here as the public address once again. Coach for the Derry area girls basketball team. Longtime high school and college basketball coach and a former colleague of us here at WSN. So Jones from the 45. Here's Valentino getting his first carry, and he is chopped down in the backfield. Good penetration as Jermichael
Guys, Valentino is down. Looks like he's holding on to that left knee.
That is not what you want to see on his first carry of the season. This is a redshirt senior who led the team in rushing attempts when they last played.
Dr. Masterson and Dr. Erdos with Excella Health Sports Medicine and Orthopedics hustling out there to take a look at Alardo.
That's been another problem with Seton Hill. You have a lot of injuries, the last several years, and that's hurt them, especially a lot of their key guys have been injured.
And I think you go back to 2019, and Valentino was kind of the guy because of Weiland's injuries. Weiland was able to come back, and they sort of were kind of 1A, 1B. McGriffin, that conversation as well. But you talk about the running back depth. Well, if this is going to keep Valentino sidelined for any period of time, that depth will be a little bit thinner. It was a good play by Isom to come in.
Right knee is what they're working on.
Certainly, you never want to see an injury, but beginning of the season, that's a tough way. I hope for Michael Valentino's sake he's able to get back up. 5:40 remaining in the first quarter with this injury stoppage. We'll take a timeout, scoreless here between Seton Hill and Wheeling on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
This is how far we'll go to treat heart, lung, and vascular disease. 15 millimeters. At Excella Health, we believe less can be more. That's why we use minimally invasive surgery in the treatment of coronary artery disease, heart valve repair and replacement, lung cancer, and conditions of the peripheral arteries. For our patients, that means less blood loss, less post-operative pain, and a faster recovery. It means that a disease process that took decades to develop can, in a few hours, be reversed. And for us, it means providing the most advanced and sophisticated care for patients in our region. The Heart, Lung, and Vascular Institute at Excella Health. Expert care here.
Valentino needing assistance to get over to the sideline. He was chopped down for a 2-yard loss. That makes it a 2nd and 12, ball at the 43-yard line for the Griffins. Jones passes to Alardo, gets a nice block. And he's brought to the sideline and forced out. Looked like it was awfully close to a face mask on Isom, but the official right there says it was a clean tackle attempt.
You mentioned the nice block. That was John Makel IV. You always talk about your receivers out there in open space throwing a nice block, and there it is. You'll see it right there.
Let's hear from Chris Smith, who has an update on Valentino.
Guys, early prognosis from Dr. Jim Masterson is a knee contusion. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it structurally. Still has stability. Just took a helmet right on that knee. His return unknown at this time.
Good stuff from Chris Smith. That's why we have him down there. 3rd and 6. Griffins trying to get past the 45 in Cardinals territory. Jones under pressure. He's going to step up. He slides, takes a hit. So whether he was going to be spotted shy or not is inconsequential. Tack on 15 yards for the late hit and his helmet coming off. Well, you never want to see a quarterback get hit in the helmet or the head.
No.
But for the Griffins, that was big because I believe they were going to spot him about a half yard shy of the stick.
He slid right around or before the 45.
And it's where you begin that sliding motion.
Yep.
And that's something that maybe going forward they're going to have to talk to Jones. Don't slide until you're past that marker.
Guys, how about the athleticism of Jones to recognize that he had no outs and just took off, broke through a couple of would-be tacklers, and eventually getting to the first down via that 15-yard misconduct penalty.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Nice job to ad-lib there as things broke down around him, and he just took off with it to pick up yardage.
He's an athlete. He's always been an athlete. I did not remember this, but I went through the stats. He had 3 receptions for a touchdown in 2019 as the backup quarterback who saw plenty of time playing that position. And there you see Josiah Wright, just not a good decision with that late hit. As a result, Griffins now at the 31. Trying to break this scoreless tie here in the first quarter. McGriff runs into a wall, gets to the 30, maybe at most a gain of 1. One of the first players in there on that tackle is Gardner. He's been active early. Forced a fumble on McGriff previous. No gain officially.
Yeah, Gardner, a redshirt sophomore, 280 pounds from Canton, Ohio. Again, nice job there by wheeling up front to block up all the holes.
And this was a very youthful Cardinals team when the program started, obviously, but they have a lot more upperclassmen now. We'll see if that pays off throughout the course of the season. 2nd and 10. 3 receivers to the right of the quarterback, Jones. He'll throw that way. Alardo puts the brakes on, and a big hit.
Is the ball out?
I think Alardo was down, but there was a massive hit on the end of that. One of the players in there on the tackle was Munoz. Did he catch Alardo, or did he tackle maybe some friendly fire here? Let's take a look. Saw the big collision. We'll see who got the worst of it. Oh, yeah. Oh, Alardo got 2 guys at once. As Gorman also in there, the linebacker, has a timeout taken defensively by Wheeling University. We'll take one as well. Under 3 minutes left in a scoreless first quarter. Seton Hill and Wheeling in the season opener here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Dr. Scott Learn and his dental team have been caring for the community for over 20 years. Dr. Learn offers a wide variety of dental services, including oral exams, gingivitis treatments, crowns, veneers, and more. He even makes custom sports mouth guards. Call 724-537-3314 or visit scottelern.dmd.com. Dr. Scott Learn General and Cosmetic Dentistry in Latrobe, giving you the confidence to enjoy your smile.
Timeout taken defensively by the Cardinals. Big scenario upcoming, a 3rd and 7 for the Griffins at the 28-yard line. If they do not convert, it'll be an interesting decision for Coach Day. He has legitimately 3 options to kick a field goal. There's Miller, the punter, who can also kick it. Luke Hogger, the sophomore out of Mount Pleasant, and Jack Wagner, the freshman we saw kicking off. They hope that's not a decision because that means they'll have this drive alive. As Weiland powering, he's going to be awfully close. It'll depend on the spot. Looks like it's right near the yard to gain.
Guys, it is literally 1 foot short.
No thought of a field goal here. The Griffins are going to keep the offense out.
Yeah, I agree. Line up and go.
And they're going heavy here. 2 tight ends coming in. Casimir, a former offensive lineman, and Smith, a former offensive lineman. So Daniel Casimir and Noah Smith, they're tight ends, but they have the ability to block and put some people on the turf. So a heavy formation upcoming. Off at field getting fired up. 4th and 1, ball at the 22-yard line. Griffins will have a receiver wide each way. Weiland the back behind Jones. And remember, Jones is a great athlete, so he could be a threat here as well.
Yep, could see a quarterback sneak.
6'2", he has pretty good length.
Yep.
Hands it to Weiland. Oh, he is hit.
Guys, he didn't get it. He's short.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And what a stand defensively by the Cardinals. Isom, who's been heavily involved celebrating. He was one of the players in there.
Yeah, ran right into the pile there, and got to give Wheeling credit to stack the line there. They knew run was coming, and just nowhere to go. There's not enough push.
Yeah, Isom did make the stop right, actually overran it. He was in the backfield even earlier.
Well, that's tough for Seton Hill.
Well, they expect to be much better in terms of running the football, and with that improved offensive line, but that time unable to pick up the yard. So the 23-yard line is where the Cardinals take over. Ali trying to break it to the outside, and he gets a positive gain, but Emberton gains. That is a middle linebacker running stride for stride with a 185-pound running back.
Yep. And Emberton gains, again, we talked about one of the big players on the defense there. The play was trying to get to the near sideline, but he was able to get there and cut it off after only a 2-yard gain.
He wears Go ahead, Chris.
Nice job by the Griffin defense to stretch that out, force them lateral, and not allow them to get east and west.
He wears number 1 because that was a coach's decision. He earned that as designated as the leader of the team. Pass behind the intended target. That's the tight end. Ballard tried to one-hand it, unable to hang on. It'll bring up a 3rd and 8. That's a Coach Day tradition, by the way. They'll have a number 1 that is earned every year. And if you're wondering who it was in 2019, TJ, do you remember?
I do not.
Logan Weiland. Or
there
number
you go.
1.
You're right.
And they said it wasn't anything Weiland failed to do, but it was more so about Emberton Gaines just doing everything imaginable to earn that honor. 3rd and 8. Griffin's defense looks for another big stop. Looked like they were not set, and the pass over the middle is caught as Davidson elevates and hauls it in. There was some scrambling right there defensively right when that ball was being snapped.
Yeah, nice job by Davison to go up and get that. Big first down for Wheeling. Now they're in hurry-up mode here.
Fake of the handoff, wobbly pass, and it hits the turf before it made it to La Follette. And we mentioned he's a really, really good receiver, the redshirt junior.
Yeah, one of the leaders on the offense. He earned. He was a second-team All-MEC last year.
And he was also second team back in 2019 when it was a much larger sample size. So I think that's probably even more impressive. Now, football bouncing around, and Jackson able to get on it, but that will be a big setback.
Yeah, lost back to about the 32-yard line.
Kind of negates that Davidson haul in there in third down. But I wanted to make note, that was the first time that Wheeling has really been able to execute on third down. The Griffins have been coming up on the strong side of third down, forcing a lot of punts.
That's right, Chris. They are Wheeling 1 of 4 on third downs.
Pass is complete. And the ball is out. Seton Hill appears to have it. Canada lost the handle, and on top of it is Dio DeSua. So the defensive tackle, the nose tackle, running downfield, gets on top of the loose ball and shows some hands.
Well, there you go. Seton Hill defense plays takeaway, loose ball on the turf, and the Griffins come up with it, and they've got good field position here. Well, they're on the plus side.
Hey, guys, you see this new tradition down here for the Griffins with the garbage can and a basketball net?
Did they slam
dunk
it?
Off a football, he comes up for a slam dunk. I guess that signifies the turnovers. Is that something new?
Well, we saw that from the baseball team all season long. And
there we go.
Throw it down. There's Justice Griffin with the slam dunk. There goes McGriff.
Is that something that they've done for a long time?
Jaquan McGriff with a nice gainer is about 7 yards on first down.
One of those guys coming out of the backfield now with Valentino down with the knee injury. We're going to see more of McGriff in the game. We saw a little bit of him back in 2019 as well, some promising signs.
Yeah, especially early in that season when Weiland was still banged up. 2nd and 3. Griffins do not have to snap the ball here. They can let the first quarter expire. We'll see what they like to do. Looked like they had a guy jump off sides there. It's the pass complete to Gaylor. He's in the free, and it's a 42-yard touchdown to conclude the first quarter. The Griffins on the board. But, TJ, you're pointing to a flag at the 25-yard line. Taro Gaylor's been impressive. One spectacular catch. Looked like he had a second, but we'll see if this touchdown's potentially negated.
Yeah, I fear it's coming back here. At least that's what it looks like right now, I think.
Well, all the Griffins are backing up. It's a personal foul for a blindside block. So let's see if we can detect it here. Hard to say for sure, but you have to wonder, did it even impact the play? Well, there's probably a chance that that player would have made the tackle. As the Mark Bales, the guilty party. So Bales is having a rough start with a drop pass and now a penalty negating what would have been a long touchdown as the ball now back to the 40-yard line.
It would have been a 42-yard touchdown.
Well, the way that the penalty works, TJ, it's going to be a 2nd and 1 when we pick up in the second quarter, and I don't know. Okay, it's an untimed down.
So this will be our last play of the quarter here.
And the Griffins going with Eddie Scott at quarterback, and he gets the first down. Scott, a transfer from Monmouth, moves the sticks with his legs, and that's where we'll pick up in the second quarter. Griffins not quite on the board yet, but there is a flag on the play. We've said that a few times.
Guys, I think they're discussing a helmet-to-helmet. Be nice if they can tack on another 15 to the end of that one, get them inside the red zone to start this second quarter.
No, maybe we'll just play the first quarter the rest of the night. There's a lengthy discussion here. The flag is at the 34-yard line, as the Griffins look like they're going to go a little heavier with the personnel. And you do see the indication it's against the Cardinals for a hit to the head.
Yep.
First sighting for Pete Billy checking in for Seton Hill, the Mount Pleasant product. He's another true freshman.
Right
and
there. Number 13.
Josiah Wright has been involved a couple of times now. So is he ejected from the game? I did not see that indication. Is Wright?
He's on the sideline with his helmet off over there, but he didn't leave the field.
I think his evening is concluded, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think so.
Wonder how many plays have been run on untimed downs.
I think he has to leave the field, though, right?
Yeah, I think he's heading. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, let's do another play here in the first quarter.
Keep them rolling.
Is this 3 untimed plays?
I lost count.
This is the second one, I believe.
No, it wasn't.
As Weiland moving forward, gets to the 15. I don't see any flags on the play.
I don't either.
That will bring an end to the first quarter, but the Griffins in the red zone will pick up second quarter action as we continue our coverage of Griffins football 2021 here on WSN.
If you had to file an insurance claim, would your insurance coverage score a touchdown, or would you be sacked for a financial loss? At Stevenson Insurance Associates, you'll call the right play when it comes to your insurance coverage. Don't fumble the opportunity to score points with our customer service and superior low-cost policies. You need to make the right call to Stevenson Insurance Associates at 724-832-9889. It's not just a home or a car. It's the 6 months you save for your Ultra HD flat screen, just in time for football season, and the overtime you worked for that third car, so your teen can drive himself to practice. While other insurance companies just see them as a bundle or combo, State Farm agent Alex Hetrick sees your home and car as things you work really hard for. Alex understands what your things really mean to you. Talk to State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Murraysville for your home and auto insurance today.
We move to the second quarter. 2nd and 7 ball at the 15-yard line for Seton Hill. The Griffins trying to get on the board first. Penalties have been certainly paramount here, TJ. Combined 9 between these squads.
Yeah, 5 for 50 for Wheeling, 4 for 45 for Seton Hill. You're sure we're in the second quarter, Sean?
That's what I'm told.
Okay.
And I believe an explanation. We had speculated that Josiah Wright might have been ejected from this game. Did not hear the official make the announcement, but I thought I just saw one of the officials indicating to the Cardinals sideline the blow to the head once again. Jones back in at quarterback after we saw Eddie Scott pick up the first down with his legs. Jones gives off.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's not much running room at all for Logan Weiland. Is in on the tackle
Johnson.
Javon Johnson.
And there's a Griffin slow to get up.
Oh, that's Prince McCarthy. Oh, that's... Well, it looks like he's okay now. Let's hope. Got up hopping. Prince tips the scales at 360 pounds.
And he, every bit of it, guys.
Oh, wow.
Got rolled up on.
Yep.
I think it was more of one of the he was scared when he got rolled up on, expected for it to be injured, but it looks like he's all right.
He's coming off the field.
Wow, he's a big dude.
Yeah, and Coach Day, when he was talking to our Dan Flickinger at the kickoff show this year, said, "You won't even recognize Prince." Well, I think I still recognize him.
Wow.
Big situation, 3rd and 6 upcoming.
Early word from Coach Masterson is he's all right, guys. Just got rolled up on.
There we go.
Three receivers to the right of Jones. And,
timeout.
yeah, the Griffins And Dan Day sprinting down the sideline to get that timeout called. We'll step aside as well. 3rd and 6 upcoming. Early stages of the second quarter here on WSN.
Hi, I'm Ryan DeShyla Jordan, and I'm a musical theater major. And the Seton Hill Theater and Dance Department is where I call home. At first, I wasn't sure I'd fit in, but it was a major turning point for me when I started joining clubs and doing fun things around campus, like the step team and singing my heart out at karaoke nights. I'm also a resident assistant, so I can help other students have their own great Seton Hill experience. Now, I'm not afraid to try anything.
Out of the timeout, 3rd and 6 upcoming for Seton Hill. Each team has used one timeout so far. We're still scoreless. 25 seconds into the second quarter. Sean Myers, TJ DeStefano on the call. Dan Flickinger, our producer. Nick D'Onofrio, our new addition as a videographer, joining the longtime cameraman Marcus Weekland. Jones gets the snap, looking to his left. Oh, he's got all day. Fakes, throws it to the end zone, incomplete. That's a case where there wasn't much of a pass rush, but as a result, so many players back in coverage, nobody was able to break open.
Yeah, so the Griffins failed to convert on 3rd down for the 4th time tonight. So now we have 4th down here, and we're going to have a field goal attempt.
It was a good decision by Jones just to get rid of it, get the field goal team out here and try to get the Griffins on board first.
Yeah, again.
TJ, are you going to be part of the Hogs this year?
The Hogs.
That's what we're going to call the fans of Luke Hogger, the kicker.
Sure, I can join.
All right.
Where do I sign up?
Well,
when we got another penalty, no surprise.
It's going to back up Hogger.
Somebody jump, guys.
What's my classic line? Pre-snap penalties are a killer.
I wonder, the specialists for Seton Hill, Hogger wears 67, Hunter Miller 64, and Wagner 63.
I was going to say, that's rare to see.
So maybe they will all play along the offensive line in the game this season. That would. So Hogger now backed up. This one will be about 36 yards.
Yep, ball's at the 19.
And
boom!
Kick is good. Well, the Hog fan club is growing as the sophomore and former Mount Pleasant area Viking gives Seton Hill its first points of the season. 14:23 remaining in the second. 3-0 Griffins over the Cardinals here on WSN.
Your next golf adventure awaits at Manor Valley Golf Course in Export. Manor Valley offers 18 scenic holes over gentle sloping fairways and the purest putting surfaces around. Manor Valley Golf Course in Export is the perfect place to host your next golf outing, banquet party, or shower. Manor Valley also offers league play and great membership rates. Tee times available. Call 724-744-4242. Visit ManorValleyGC.com.
The Westmoreland Sports Network is available on social media. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like our page on Facebook for the latest Westmoreland County sports news, WSN broadcast links, scores, game stories, videos, pictures, and much, much more. Also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for archived interviews and broadcast highlights. The Westmoreland Sports Network is available whenever and however you want it.
Luke Hogger with the 36-yard field goal, and now it will be Jack Wagner to kick off. Griffins up 3-0. They get their first points since 2019.
Hey, Sean, I'll talk about the Hogger fan club. I think head coach Dan Day leads that pack. I thought he was going to tackle Hogger when he came off the field after that 37-yard boom.
Nice. And the Griffins special teams come up big once again. They have been great, by and large, covering kicks and punts.
Down here, guys, the guys are just staying in their lanes, being accountable where they're supposed to be and not allowing any lanes for this willing return team.
As a result, 23-yard line for the second straight time. That's where the Cardinals will begin a drive. They've not had good field position so far tonight.
No, they have not. We pretty much in that first quarter played the field position game, which Seton Hill has won.
We haven't seen a lot from the Cardinals. They had that one penalty and they had one nice completion as this one is whistled dead.
Wonder why. Oh, no, it's a timeout that time. Whoops, my bad.
We'll keep it right here. Trent Jackson, an interesting story, TJ. He is their graduate quarterback by way of WVU. Now, he was a walk-on with the Mountaineers, but they spoke very highly of his abilities throughout practices. They said he had tremendous arm strength. So this is an opportunity for him to really show what he's capable of, because sometimes you go to a Division I team, and just quite frankly, as good as you might be, you're just not as good as a Division I scholarship quarterback. But he might be among the better in D2, and he'll have a chance to prove it this year.
I was going to say, maybe playing with a chip on his shoulder, now here at Wheeling, in a program, again, that we've talked about, is really still in its early stages.
So after the timeout, the drive slated to begin at the 23-yard line. Take a shot down the field, incomplete. That was terrific coverage as the Griffins, Nario walks. That is a linebacker running stride for stride. That's the second time we've said that. Emberton Gaines showing the ability to run with the running back, and now walks in coverage down the field.
Yeah, great job there. There was some battling going back and forth between both guys, so good no call on pass interference there.
We mentioned how talented this linebacker core is because they can do it all. Screen pass upcoming, and the Griffins, Emberton Gaines all over it as he drives a lead down. It goes for a loss.
And now there's going to be a
celebration, guys. Celebration.
And this is something discussed in the NFL. They're going to kind of crack down on it. I am okay with celebration as long as you're, not really making an effort to show up the opposition. We saw the flexing.
But again,
was it aimed potentially at Ali? I guess that's what they're saying. That's tough.
Yeah, it is, especially after a huge play.
And Dan Day said he was going to have to try to be a little bit calmer tonight because he knew how amped up his players would be. Well, that's one that I think also the officials, you get to maybe week 6, they might not be calling that.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of sports, is sometimes a point of emphasis will be called a lot early in the season and then sort of dissipates. We'll see if Wheeling can take advantage. That time, Emberton Gaines could not make the shoestring tackle on Ali, but he did force him out of bounds.
Yeah, he got just enough maybe of his ankle there to slow him down and keep that too. Well, it's still an 11-yard game, but it maybe could have been more.
Well, that penalty really has changed everything. It was going to be a 3rd and long.
Some of the momentum now where Seton Hill's had all the momentum, maybe shifting a little bit here toward Wheeling to try to get them going on offense.
Another run, this time the Griffins stout defensively. A number of players, including Gideon, in on the tackle to make sure that did not go very far at all. Big Kayvan Bowen as well, tipping the scales at 350 pounds.
He is so big. I saw him wrapped around the wall runner, and I was kind of scared whenever he fell down top.
It's pronounced Kayvan, but he could be confused with Evan at times with his size. And they love what he brings. Doesn't necessarily have to get sacks to make an impact. As the quarterback rolling out, Jackson had all time to throw. Back shoulder throw. Was it caught? It's
a catch.
Completion.
Yeah. Nice back shoulder.
Yeah. That's LaFollette with the reception. The leader in both receptions and receiving yards each of the past 2 campaigns. It's a nice throw on the run. Cartier Gray could not have been any tighter in that coverage. Sometimes just a perfect throw will be great defense. Fake of the handoff, look over the middle, tight window there. It's incomplete, but here come the flags. That was Ballard, the tight end, the intended target.
I don't know. It looked like good D to me, guys.
Well, you're close enough that you could probably talk to the officials down there, Chris.
Line up!
Well, this is certainly the drive of penalties. I guess you could say that about a few drives so far. But
I was going to say, it could be the first half of penalties there, Sean.
Maybe a little bit too tight there on that coverage.
Let's see. I guess because he was on his back, maybe.
I believe that was Walks.
It was, number 6.
Complimented him for some of his sticky coverage earlier. So with the penalty, ball now at the 25-yard line. And as the Cardinals look to get on the board and potentially take the lead.
That's penalty 6 on Seton Hill, 5 for Wheeling.
Option play. Ali gets the pitch. Ran through the first would-be tackler in Everton Gaines, but can't quite get to the 20. Gain of about 3 yards. TJ, I want to take this opportunity. I talked to Coach Day yesterday, and he said he wanted to give a shout-out his dad, Randall Day Sr. He's watching the game from home here on WSN, unable to make it here tonight. But Coach wanted to let his dad know that he's appreciative. And why wouldn't you watch the game if you aren't able to make it out here to Offutt? As we have a whistle, another timeout.
Especially when your crew at WSNN is covering it.
You know I'd be watching if I wasn't here.
Yeah, and you'd be sending an email as well, I'm not sure.
I would be. Do you want me to email anyway?
Well, if you can multitask. I
don't know about that. That's pushing it now.
Well, was there a timeout here? Because the teams are still on the field.
Or is it an official's timeout? I don't.
Well, they're doing a lot of pointing. Not sure that I fully understand the explanation. Maybe an issue with the sticks. Looks like we're just about ready to go.
I'm assuming that's what it is.
Are we going to get a call now?
Well, of course, the referee's mic doesn't work. Or if he's even wearing one here.
Get Chris out there. All right, now he just had to get back to position. Okay. 2nd and 7, ball at the 22-yard line. Just
Let's
under
talk
12.
to Flick about that. Everything's got a price tag.
That's right. What? Well, I guess it's the first day for the officials, too. The first game for them.
All right, now we're ready.
Are you sure?
2nd and 7, now the clock runs. Jackson looking end zone. Nearly intercepted.
Wow.
That's a case where Davidson basically was serving as the defensive back, trying to make sure that Everton Gaines did not come up with the pick.
Awesome play by Davidson there to get his hands in, because that was a definite pick with a lot of green and room to run in front of him.
My mistake, that's not Everton Gaines.
20. Hahn. Or Pratt. Yep. Third and 7.
Jackson running, has some room in front of him, throws behind his body, it's complete.
Look out.
And this is going to go for a 22-yard touchdown on the reception. Davidson, give credit to Jackson for keeping the play alive.
Yeah, that's a huge conversion there. And once Davidson got into open space there and plenty of running room, there weren't any white shirts around, and it was easy into the end zone.
Well, think of how many times it looked like the Griffins maybe were going to get a stop, if not a turnover on this drive, and instead it leads to a Wheeling touchdown.
Penalties, guys. Lots of penalties on that drive.
Yep.
So the former Pitt Panther finds pay dirt.
I knew I'd like that guy.
Now the extra point attempt by Greenwood to kick is up. And that one blasted off of a truck. Makes it 7-3 in favor of the Cardinals. Second quarter action continues, 11:35 remaining. as we continue right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Score big with the Bowser family of dealerships featuring GMC, Buick, Cadillac, Subaru, Hyundai, and Nissan. Looking for a new car, truck, or SUV? Visit powerofbowser.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to find your perfect vehicle. Get the absolute best price and the best car buying experience anywhere. It's the power of the Bowser family of dealerships. Route 51 South on top of the hill.
Hi, I'm Anthony D'Annunzio from D'Annunzio's Restaurants. Come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Jeanette, Monroeville, or Latrobe. We're open 7 days a week, so we've always got something cooking at D'Annunzio's. For our dine-in specials, Monday it's spaghetti. It's raviolis on Tuesday, lasagna on Wednesday, and on Thursday it's chicken parmesan or chicken romano. Visit us online at D'Annunzio'sRestaurant.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. D'Annunzio's Restaurants. It's a family tradition.
22-yard touchdown reception by Jaquan Davidson as the kick goes out of bounds, and that will be a penalty on the Cardinals and Matt Greenwood.
That was an 8-play, 77-yard drive, 2:41 off the clock.
You go back to some unfortunate and untimely penalties on the Griffins.
Yeah, those
including that questionable pass interference.
Well, now we'll see what they're made of because facing some real adversity for the first time this year.
And they are going to re-kick this.
I want to let you know, you heard from Chris Smith. He's going to try to talk to head coach Dan Day heading into the locker room. That'll be part of the Excella Health halftime show here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Want to stick around for that. So Greenwood backed up. We'll kick it away again with the Griffins deep men standing at the 15-yard line. Darnell Carey among them, and he's pretty special as a returner. And he'll get an opportunity here on the bobble from the 15. And he gets past the 30, lost his footing. If not for that, maybe could have taken that one near midfield.
Yep. He's got speed, no flags on the field. It's a pretty decent field position here for the Griffins at the 35.
He can run.
He can. So we've seen the momentum swing in favor of Wheeling here now. And again, Sean, as you said, see how the Griffins respond to some adversity here now.
First down for Seton Hill. Offense has been a little bit out of sync so far. Fake of the handoff. Jones rolling. Is going to take a shot down the field. Just out of the reach of the intended target, Gaither. He's been looking for him a lot tonight.
He has been.
Well, I think that was good play design. It's just that's a tough pass to complete.
And Fabian McNichols was also there on the coverage.
He just sounds like a defensive back, right? Or a McDonald's meal, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a massive gain if it's maybe up in the air about a quarter of a second longer. 2nd and 10. Jones has had some good time. Lofts a pass. Incomplete. Couldn't tell if Smith even saw the pass coming. Offensive lineman now playing at tight end after his conversion and didn't really make much of an effort to make a play on the ball there.
Yeah, Atkinson on the coverage there. And you did mention the time for Jones, Sean. The offensive line done a pretty decent job here. A group that's really come a long way since 2019, as we mentioned earlier. Very young in that first year. And I know that's one of the big things there. They want to run the football.
Well, it's 3rd and 10. It's not easy to run.
Not to run on this down, though.
Have to stay on schedule, if you will. Jones looking to pass. Nice. That is complete, and that will be a first down. And did the football come out?
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Wheeling thinks it has the football.
And
Willing's coming up with it, guys, but I think there's going to be a discussion on whether or not he was down.
Yeah, Jason Simon ripped it out. But I thought that the forward momentum.
And we got a flag.
The forward momentum, I thought, was pretty clearly stopped.
Yeah.
Simon, the DN, give him credit for getting down the field, and now Gaither being helped off the field. This is a lot's going on here in this first half of play. All right. It's going to be Seton Hill football. I have no idea why. We could not distinguish, but I guess it's a penalty against the Cardinals.
Oh, no.
And now a sideline warning. Well, let's see just if not for the penalty, was the forward momentum stopped? To me, well, yeah, it's close.
It is.
And that's almost a situation where Gaither actually maybe should have given himself up a little bit earlier instead of risk having secondary and third and fourth defenders come over and try ripping it out. And
Sean, I think that Willing D was holding him up with hopes of trying to strip the football.
And now there's a little concern as to the status of Gaither. Needed some help to the sideline. Now you see him. Ball at the 47-yard line. Weiland, strong run, gets it beyond midfield as some players battling after the whistle. Prince McCarthy is back out there. Dan Flickinger was all over that. Tight end Noah Smith now checks out. Uriah Rajkumar among the players checking in. Rajkumar is a pretty experienced player. He's a redshirt senior. Called his name a lot over the years.
Ball right at midfield here. Weiland bouncing off defenders on that last run.
Guys, the good news, Gaither is up and running around. Return is expected. As he just shoved me out of the way, so I think he's okay.
Ball comes out
again.
McGriff has put it on the turf a couple of times. This time he gets some help from a teammate, and now McGriff is shaken up. On the recovery is Trevor Mitchell, Johnny on the spot. This is seeing so many players go down early. It's been a rough go of it for McGriff tonight.
Yep.
They had both he and Weiland out together. It looked like maybe a little whiplash after the ball had already come out. So with player down on the field in McGriff, we'll take a break as we continue second quarter action here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. TJ, I lied. We're going to keep it right here. A good sign for the Griffins is McGriff making his way off the field. But what was an incredibly deep.
Guys, Gaither back in the game.
Well, that's a good sign for the receivers. And now you have to wonder about a couple of running backs, though.
Yeah, because Valentino was down earlier, and now McGriff out.
Well, probably going to see even more of Logan Weiland then.
Yep.
3rd and 4, ball at the 47. Griffins need to get it to the 43. This is Scott. Throw incomplete. They were showing the run and then trying to get it over the middle, but out of the reach.
Ryan Thomas.
And he knows about playing on this field.
Yes, he does.
Former Greensburg-Salem Golden Lion. They have him as the H-back. So with Scott a running threat, he shows run, kind of Tim Tebow-esque. No jump needed. That was there.
It was.
And
just through his fingertips.
A little high, and Thomas unable to kind of turn around and haul it in. So now the Griffins will punt it away. Hunter the punter out there. Looks like Finch on the return. Not a good punt as it's angled and out. I hesitated for a second to say Finch, TJ, because there's a couple of number 6s, so when it's on special teams, you don't right away know. A lot of duplicate numbers on this roster for the Cardinals, some for Seton Hill as well. There's our great crew for tonight's broadcast. We don't have to worry about the duplicate numbers when we're calling high school football.
You're definitely right about that.
By the way, TJ, I heard you're going to be doing Mount Pleasant football coming up.
Did you hear that?
That's the rumor.
Is that the rumor? Making my return to Mount Pleasant, huh?
Yeah, we got some former Vikings here on the Griffins. Mentioned the kicker Hogger, Pete Billy as well. First down. Pass is complete. Griffins do a good job to hold the gain to a minimal one as La Follette on the reception, but didn't have much room to operate.
I returned to Mount Pleasant as a broadcaster only.
Not as a player?
No. I went to Greensburg-Salem. Gotcha. And surprisingly enough, the first game I'm doing is Mount Pleasant and Greensburg-Salem.
There you go.
So I'm in a predicament. Who do I root for?
Greensburg-Salem's head coach Dave Kiefer lives in Mount Pleasant.
There we go.
Another pass complete. La Follette down immediately. They are taking away all time and space. Walks in there on the tackle.
Swarming to the ball. We've seen the defense. I think I said that a couple times.
They're like bees.
Like around a hive.
Took the words out of my mouth there, TJ. These Griffins are flying to the football, and that's exactly what they need to stop this Cardinal momentum here in a second.
Yeah, they are.
Big third down.
Yeah, they are. The whole time so far, I mean, the defense I've really been impressed with the defense overall tonight.
Josh Cohen out there along the defensive line for the Griffins, getting some run, the sophomore. Pass is intercepted. Jumping the route is Pratt, and Seton Hill will have terrific field position.
Look at that, stepped right in front of it, and the Griffins are in business.
Chris Smith loves the slam dunk celebration. We nearly saw a Pratt interception earlier. This time he's able to hang on and give Seton Hill great starting field position.
It was a great read, guys. He stepped right in front, and I think he could have had 6. So let's give it up for that Cardinal would-be receiver for the shoestring saving tackle.
That's La Follette.
Yep, that's who he stepped right in front of. So here, Seton Hill at the 25-yard line. Got to get this into the end zone here. Got to get the momentum back.
Well, we'll see if they take a shot here on this first play.
Yep.
Jones under center. Fakes the handoff. Oh, he's got a man open. Pass is complete. Makel, the fourth, is hammered out of bounds, but it's a first down pickup. Griffins inside the 10.
Yeah, don't need it all at once here. We've got plenty of downs to do it. And they pick up a first down, and now in the red zone, down to the 8-yard line.
And that was well designed because Jones was wide open, had all day to throw. Makel ran wide open. Movement up front. Daniel Morales, the right tackle, one of the players who moved. Was he induced to move? That's a false start.
Here's where you don't want to be shooting yourself in the foot with penalties this deep in your opponent's territory. That's going to be penalty, I believe, number 8 on Seton Hill.
Penalty number a lot.
That's right. 6 on Wheeling, so we got 14 total in this game. Seems like a lot more than 14, though.
Casimir in the game as a tight end. And on the other side, Smith. So a 2 tight end set for the Griffins. 1 wide each way. Jones has time. Pass is complete down to about the 2-yard line. On the reception, Todd Phillips. 6'4", 185-pound big target.
First and goal. Again, look at the time that Jones has. What a job by the offensive line.
Second down from the 2-yard line. Weiland in the backfield. They move Pete Billy in motion. Goes to Weiland. Nowhere to go. Oh, look out.
Look.
Prince McCarthy getting into it, and now it spills into the end zone with some other players.
And another flag. Weiland tried to go to the outside and cut back to the inside, and then that's where he was taken down there.
Ryan Thomas, one of the players who was in that scuffle in the end zone. Now, the Griffins have a lot of local flavor, and I think that's part of the strategy for Dan Days to recruit locally if possible. As you see Prince going at it, and then behind him, even more players into the end zone. As you can see on the right side of the screen. Well, when you get that deep, if you're Seton Hill, you don't want to give the officials any chance to call your team for a penalty.
Yeah.
Now, it might be offsetting, it might be inconsequential, but don't even want to be in that scenario. Personal foul against the Griffins and against the Cardinals, offset. So it'll bring up third and goal, ball at the 2-yard line. Probably 4-down territory.
Most definitely. Got to find a way to punch this in this deep in your opponent's territory.
And they're likely down to just Weiland in terms of the running back options, with both McGriff and Valentino shaken up.
Third down and goal from the 2-yard line.
Everything's in tight.
Heavy set here. Billy in at one of the wing-back positions. A timeout. We'll step aside as well. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Griffins trying to take the lead on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
If I had to pick one thing that I would do over and over again from a business perspective, it would be locating in Westmoreland County. People here are very talented. They're great, hardworking people. It's an excellent place to own a business.
The Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce has given us the ability to network with other businesses here within the county, brought us great exposure within the county and in neighboring areas, and we've really seen it add to the diversity of our client base.
Ball at the 2-yard line, third and goal for Seton Hill, looking to take the lead. Jones rolling, incomplete.
Yep, knocked away.
Now, figure Griffins will try to go for it here. Casimir was the intended target, but we'll see.
I believe that was White, the third on the knockaway there.
It was Rich White. Great breakup on that play.
There we go. Thoughts of it from up here.
Well, the Griffins are going to go for a field goal here. It's Hogger.
Well, I guess you want the points, but I don't know.
And the clock running down. They're not going to get this one off, I don't think.
No.
Oh, they do it the last second.
And
the kick is up and good. So a very short field goal. The Griffins get points, but they still trail 7-6 in favor of Wheeling over Seton Hill as we continue here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. This is Sean Myers.
And this is Dan Flickinger. Join us every Wednesday night throughout the season for Westmoreland on the Gridiron.
We discuss the biggest news involving Westmoreland County and WPIAL football, break down all of the games with our Westmoreland Sports Network announcers, plus we're joined every week by local players and coaches.
And of course, everyone's favorite segment, the Plays of the Week.
10-5, goal line! Touchdown!
That's Westmoreland on the Gridiron every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Hampton Inn & Suites, North Huntington Irwin is Seton Hill University's preferred hotel partner. Stay at this brand new hotel where you can relax by the outdoor fire pit or swim in the indoor pool. You'll love everything, from the clean, modern rooms to the free Wi-Fi and the waffles. Hampton Inn & Suites, North Huntington Irwin is located just off of I-76, minutes from restaurants and shopping in downtown Irwin. Book now at hampton.com.
Kick fielded at about the 5-yard line. Canaday hit hard. Griffin's coverage team has continued to impress. That's Zach Williams again among the players in there.
Guys, I'll say it again. Just great lane discipline on this Griffin kickoff team.
Yeah, it's definitely showed. Seton Hill's been winning the field position battle, I'd say, for the most part in this game. Yes,
Maybe a good time for a 3 and out for this Griffin defense. Get the offense back out there. Try to get the lead.
That would work. Or a turnover.
The 23-yard line is where the Cardinals begin. Pretty nice run on first down. Ali gets maybe his finest effort of the night. That's all the way out past the 40.
Probably coming into that, Wheeling had only rushed for 22 yards, 2.2 a carry.
It's a gain of 18 yards.
And it hasn't been much better for Seton Hill, 23 rushing yards, only 1.4. Big tackle.
Complete, but Jackson did not put his receiver in a good spot as Pratt has been all over the field and makes the immediate tackle for what turns out to be no gain on the play.
That's about the third time we mentioned Pratt. Again, he had that interception, a couple other big plays here. So this look out.
Sack.
Down.
As Seton Hill's defense again comes up big, Desua gets in there to drive Jackson down to the ground.
Yep. Desua in on the stop, and everything broke down around him. Again, a nice job by the defensive front of the Griffins.
And Desua really flashed as a freshman back in 2019, had 19 tackles, comes up with the quarterback sack here. And he wasn't the only one in wreaking havoc. Jaden Mack also in the backfield.
This will be a third down, 2 of 6 for Wheeling on third downs tonight.
Jackson under pressure again, this time gets out of it in the open field, and he'll slide down. Realized he wasn't going to get to the first down sticks.
Yeah, he was ready to meet Jalen Mack there. So
maybe he wasn't ready to meet him.
Maybe he wasn't. So he slides down and going to force a punt. Nice job by the Griffins there. I'll see if Wheeling can flip the field position here.
I mean, from my vantage point, Seton Hill's been, I would say, clearly the better team, but they've made, I think, some pretty costly mistakes.
I agree. I do agree with you, Sean. Whether it be a turnover or a penalty or something like that.
Sometimes it's about which team can make fewer mistakes.
Exactly.
Now look at this return by Alardo. Now they're going to say he was down.
It was like a little bit of a delay there on the call.
Yeah, so wipe out those final 5 yards or so on that return. They'll spot him back at about the 25. Now, Lardo's the type of guy that you get the ball in his hands, you never know what he can do with it.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where you get him the ball either as a receiver or special teams, maybe running the ball. I mean, he's a guy that can make plays happen, so they're definitely looking to get him the ball.
I think we saw Ryan Barabee in that last shot, the former starting quarterback for the Griffins, now on staff.
Yes, coaching.
He split time with Chris Jones a few years ago.
Back in 19.
Jones.
Look out, here we go.
Throws awkwardly, and the pass is complete to Weiland. He was a little indecisive there, but ultimately got about 7 yards out of it.
Again, a nice job, though, to ad-lib there for Jones. In trouble, things broke down, and he flushed out and finds Weiland for a short pickup there. Rather than taking a sack on the play.
Pass incomplete. That time, Makel IV was unable to get a foot in bounds.
Yeah, he's going backwards out of bounds there along the far sideline. So third down for the Griffins. They are 1 for 7 on third down. So both teams struggling in third down.
Well, 3rd and 3 certainly manageable.
Yes.
Leaves the running option open, but you mentioned they're struggling to run the football.
And that's one of the things, that's been a big thing with this team. You've seen them be so one-dimensional, forced to throw, and they want to really improve on the running game, and it hasn't been the case here, at least in the opening game.
Jones quick out to Alardo, first down and more to the 45, and he's ultimately wrestled down by Rich White from St. Edwards out of Cleveland, but not before Alardo moves the sticks for the Griffins.
About a 13-yard pickup, a little spin move at the end there by Alardo.
This is a PSAC West second-team performer back in 2017, and he had 41 catches in 2019, TJ. You always wonder, can he stay healthy throughout the course of a season?
Yeah, that's been the issue with him, just unable to stay on the field due to injuries.
Fake of the handoff, throw to Alardo again, and that time he's hit hard. Number of players in on the tackle. Chase Nolan looked like caught him up high.
Yeah, he tried to swing out of that tackle, but that's going to be held to just about a 2-yard gain there.
Interesting, TJ, the way that the classes are determined. It's going to be confusing for the next several years, right? Because everyone had that year that didn't count in terms of their eligibility. Passes tipped and incomplete. A couple of players in on the pressure, including Brandon Munoz. So I asked Coach Day, how did you determine let's say a redshirt sophomore versus a junior and things like that? And he said basically, if they told me if they're coming to use that extra year, how many years they'll have left. So some players won't use that extra year of eligibility. Others already know that they will. So basically he listed it on how many years he anticipates them having remaining here at Seton Hill. 3rd and 10. Stepping up, Jones throws. It's complete. Yes, it's a first down pickup. As Gaither, good to see him back out healthy and making a contribution.
Yeah, it's a big one there, right down around the 41-yard line.
That certainly could have been hands to the face. I think that was Barry who got the mitts up high in Munoz, but maybe one that the officials missed. Jones, incomplete. Well, one thing is I think the pass protection has been pretty darn good.
That one skipped in front of Makel. Yes, as I said, they're the offensive line doing a pretty good job here.
Maybe not creating the running lanes that we'd hope to see, but I think giving Jones a lot of time.
Yeah, he's had a lot of time. He really has. And again, even when things have broken down, he's made plays. But again, this offensive line, compared to when we last saw them in 2019, I think they've really taken big strides.
Yeah, physically just way ahead of where they were. Jones down the field,
picked
intercepted.
Wait.
Yeah, that's J.R. Atkinson on the interception. He did go down to the turf immediately, but not a good throw by Jones, trying to squeeze it in, could not make it fit.
Yeah, just stepped right there, and so wheeling plays takeaway there. Getting at all kind of time.
So the 28-yard line is Phillips the intended target. 28 is where the Cardinals will begin. 1:04 remaining. They did not have a timeout. And we'll see how aggressive Coach Zach Bruni elects to be. He could probably run a 2-minute drill back in his day. Mentioned 27-1 as a starting quarterback at Mount Union. Looks like they're going to play it safe up the middle, and that goes for a modest gain. Probably the right decision as early in the season as we are, and with a lot of mistakes. As Justice Griffin,
slow to get up.
Yeah, he's going to hobble his way over. And that brings Josh Cohen out onto the field. We expect to hear from Coach Day along with Chris Smith in 34 seconds time or so of game action.
Nope.
Here comes a flag. False start.
And that's going to be that's going to be penalty 7
now,
on.
I don't think that Dan Day will do it, but technically with 2 timeouts, the Griffins could try to get the football back here.
Yeah, I thought about that because they do have 2 timeouts.
I probably would not go that route.
I agree. But
it has to at least be a consideration, no? I think maybe you see what happens on this next play.
Yeah. Because now you're in a 2nd and long.
All right, well, now the clock is running, so really without using the timeout. That's actually a scenario where you don't really mind that penalty if you're the Cardinals, since the clock does continue to run. They do have to snap it. And a handoff. And the bell cow Ali goes almost nowhere. McDuffie on the tackle. That will bring an end to the first half of play. We'll have the Excella Health halftime show upcoming on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Excella Health expert care here. Visit excellahealth.org. But we will
Guys, I'm trying to catch up with a very excited Coach Day. Coach, you're clearly dominating the game out there on the field. Talk a little bit about eliminating some of those penalties and the message to the team.
I mean, I guess I'd like your definition of domination. I don't know if we're there. I mean, it's look, we got to talk about discipline. I mean, this whole thing is going to come down to our discipline in the first half is what right now we should have 21 points on the board. I know it might not feel like that, but we had, a touchdown down here that we just weren't disciplined on the blocking. We had a touchdown right here that Logan fit inside that if he goes outside and does his job, it's clean, right? Then the very next offensive possession, we give them 3 first down on penalties. Week 1 comes down to discipline. And they're doing a better job of being more disciplined than we are. That's what we got to clean up. And if we do that, we're going to be absolutely fine. But we have to clean up our discipline.
Coach, you came into this season talking a lot about the running game. Of course, you've got a couple running backs out here tonight. We plan to get back to the running game in the second half and try to balance that Griffin attack?
I hope so. But I'm not suited up, right? That's the offensive lines. That's their question to answer. I hope so. But we got to make sure we're a lot more physical up front, and they're not playing as well as I would hope right now.
Coach, thanks so much. Good luck in the second half. Guys, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Good interview there with Coach Day. We'll take a break, come back, give some quick thoughts. Also, the halftime show will take place here at Offutt Field. Griffins trailing by a single point, 7-6, with Wheeling University in the lead. In the season opener, we'll continue our coverage of Griffins football 2021 right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
When I first came back, one of the first things that blew me away was our facilities. How the fields have grown up in that whole complex down the hill. Our weight room now, I mean, how that has been, remodeled and changed and overhauled.
Our baseball field is, in my opinion, one of the best in the nation, Division II wise. And just having Sullivan Gym open for us all the time with the nets in there whenever we wanted to get work in, which is possibly why I got to where I am, because all the extra work that I did put in.
I think our facilities are one of the best across the P-Stacks, and that's definitely a huge recruiting tool as we are able to draw the athletes for the academics in addition to the great things they can get on the athletic side of it.
I don't think I would be able to thrive in a big school. I think I like that the professors know my name. I like that when I'm walking down the hall, I can say hi to someone and I actually know them.
nails, hair, bits, heels, face, filling, lips, real, nose, cool, big bills, yes, I'm a big face, eyes, pin, place, big eyes, you, wish, you, from, you, this, that, action, please stop me, that time, it's so close, they 5, 4, 3, 2, girl, what did that girl do, say girl, girl, I don't dance, I work, I don't play, I slay, my
Thank you.